For most of your life, you were trained to have an answer, to be sure, to know what you wanted, where you were going, and how to get there. Uncertainty felt like a weakness, something to hide or fix as fast as possible. But here's a truth nobody tells you. That constant pressure to know everything, it's exhausting, and it's not strength at all. Now, in this season of life, a different kind of power is available to you. It's quieter. It doesn't show off. It's the courage to look at a question and simply say, I don't know. Not because you've given up, because you've finally understood that not knowing isn't a failure. It's a release. It's permission to stop pretending, to breathe, and to let life be more open than you ever allowed it to be. You carried that weight for decades. Think about what it took to raise children and always have an answer, or to navigate a career where one wrong move could cost everything. That constant need to appear certain, it drained you slowly, quietly, year after year. And here's what nobody told you then. Pretending to know is exhausting work. It closes doors before you even see them. Look at a garden for a moment. You cannot force a seed to grow just by knowing how. You can water it. You can give it sunlight. You can trust the earth beneath it. But the actual growing? That happens in darkness, in silence, in ways you'll never fully understand. And that's the beauty of it. You don't need to know exactly how the seed becomes a flower. You just need to be present and let it be. Think about sitting with a morning cup of coffee, not because you have to rush into the day, but simply because you're there. The steam rises, the warmth spreads through your hands, and for just a moment, you don't need to plan anything. Do you feel that? It's not emptiness. It's an open space, like a room you've never walked into before. Not knowing what comes next isn't a failure. It's possibility, breathing gently. An old photograph works the same way. You don't have to remember every detail of that day to know it was beautiful. The feeling stays. It lives deeper than facts ever could. Letting go of the need to have all the answers all the time is not giving up. It's opening a door. On the other side is quiet joy, asking nothing of you but your presence. And maybe the best way to learn this is on a walk. Not a walk with a destination in mind, not a walk to get somewhere, just a walk. You step outside, and you don't know what you'll find. Maybe a fallen leaf, still wet from last night. Maybe a neighbor's smile from across the street. Maybe the sound of a bird you can't even name. That's the quiet strength of not knowing. It doesn't ask you to be in control. It asks you to be present. Because the moment you accept that you don't know what's around the corner, you stop rushing to the corner. You start paying attention to the step you're taking. You feel the ground beneath your feet. You notice the way the light falls through the branches. You cannot control the path, but you can enjoy the step, and that changes everything. And then there's the other layer of it, the one we don't talk about enough. Our culture worships knowing. From the moment we're young, we're rewarded for having the right answer. And by the time you reach this season of life, you've spent decades trying to prove you've got it figured out. But wisdom isn't in knowing. Wisdom often comes in the quiet moment when you say, I don't know, and that is okay. Think of a grandchild asking you something you can't answer. Maybe it's about how stars stay in the sky, or why a certain song makes you cry. Your first instinct might be to fill the silence, to offer something plausible, to protect the image of the adult who knows everything. But what if you didn't? What if you looked at them and said, you know, I'm not sure. Isn't that wonderful? To still have things we don't understand? That moment of honesty doesn't weaken you. It builds something deeper than any answer ever could. It tells them it's safe to not know, that you're still wondering too. And maybe that's where a quieter kind of purpose begins. Not in having the roadmap, but in learning to love the questions themselves. You don't need a grand plan anymore. Purpose can look like showing up for a friend who just needs someone to sit beside them in silence. It can look like tending to that stubborn little plant on the windowsill, watering it even when you're not sure it will bloom. It can be writing a letter by hand, a letter you might never even send, because the act of writing it, of putting your hope into ink, is enough. You don't know how it will be received, if at all, but you write it anyway. And in that simple act of reaching out without guarantee, you're already living your purpose. Purpose isn't a destination you arrive at. It's the quiet decision to keep showing up, even when you don't know what comes next. So maybe the most honest place to land is right here. You don't know. And that's not a failure. That's an opening. Think of it like this. Every story you've lived began with a moment of not knowing. The first day of a new job. The first time you held your child. You didn't have the answers then either, but you showed up. And the story unfolded anyway. The same is true now. When you say, "I don't know," you're not closing a door. You're making space for the next chapter to write itself. For the quiet plot twist you never saw coming. For a purpose that doesn't need to be loud or proven, just lived. Your purpose hasn't left you. It's just softer now, more patient. It doesn't need you to have all the answers. It just needs you to stay curious, stay kind, stay open. That's enough. And if this moment of peace meant something to you, come back anytime. There's more where this came from. Subscribe if you'd like, and we'll keep walking this road together, one quiet step at a time.